Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You're listening to the What It Do podcast. All right. Hey, guys, welcome back to another episode of the What It Do podcast. In the studio today, Mr. Chris Crawford. How are you doing, Chris?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. I'm glad you could make it. It's been great. It's been great. I've actually, I was telling you before we got started, I was like, man, I'm going to take a walk today.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a walk, and I never do that before a podcast, right? Because I usually show up and I'm real sluggish and shit. And I'm like, I'm going to get the juices flowing. I'm going to go walk. And then what's crazy is that today I'm having my cup of coffee.
Yeah.
It'll soon have a shot of Jim Beaver.
Yeah, there you go. A hot toddy.
Yeah, hot toddy. And then after this, man, I'm going to go hit up the gym.
Good.
I need it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you tomorrow and be like, hey, so how'd it go? Like,
I'm like, I didn't go. I went straight home, made me a bowl of noodles. And
Damn it.
So when's the last time you worked out?
God, man, you're going to call me out. It's going to be probably about 8 months ago was the last time I worked out.
Oh, so he'll call you in the morning. You ain't going to move. You're going to be like,
Yeah.
can't do
I'm going
it.
to be like, no. See, what's crazy, though, is that it's like this switch went off, right, one day. Matter of fact, I'll even tell you when it was. It was Saturday.
Okay.
The switch went off, and I've been waking up at before 7 o'clock every morning. What's weird is that that was always my thing, right? But I would just go right back to bed. I'm like, Well, one of my eyelids, I would open, I would look out.
Do an alligator roll.
There you go. Gator roll back into my sheets, and then right back out again for about another hour. But here lately, man, I not really spring up, but I'm like, all right, get up.
Yeah.
Get up, go put my, I used to have the habit of where I'd pick up my phone and I would take it to the restroom, and I'd be sitting there watching TikTok or something. I want to use the restroom. I'm like, not even going to touch it until I'm ready. Mm-hmm. Until I get up, brush my teeth, put my contacts on, do my business, and get ready, and then I'll pick up my phone. But out of nowhere.
Good.
I'm so irresponsible that's I'm actually proud of that.
Hey, man.
Tomorrow's going to suck because I'm like.
It will.
Yeah.
If you go, don't go overboard when you work out.
No.
Yeah,
I just want to go and kind of just like.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it is I'm just to work off the coffee.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Because this is my second cup.
It's a diaretic too, so make sure make sure you drink water.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
Something to clean up the pipes.
Yeah, it'll definitely do that.
Oh, shit. Chris?
What's up, man?
Man, we were talking a lot before the podcast, as we always do, to try to break the ice, get a little bit, just kind of chill. But, man, you were hitting me with some knowledge that I was just like, man, we should save this for the podcast, So, I guess the show's about you.
All right.
How long you been in the comedic game?
I've been messing with it for about 9 years.
9 years now.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
It's been a crazy thing.
Oh, I bet.
No, I actually started here in San Angelo. I came out here as an instructor for the military, and I'd never done any public speaking. And that's really kind of what started it, is I had to learn how to do public speaking in order to be an instructor over at the base. And during that time, I had just read Howie Mandel's book, Here's the Deal, Don't Touch Me. And it was weird because everything he ever did turned to gold. He's just like, I went up an open mic on a dare. The next week I was invited back as a guest, and he was invited back to host. The next thing you know, he was doing stuff for radio, and then he was on TV, and then
Bobby's
he was
World.
then he was on a movie, then he was a cartoon, and then it was just like every single thing he did knocked down another door. I was like, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Turns out it does not move like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
He just happened to hit it just right.
he's just lucky. He's lucky.
Yeah.
And I would say that I see so many people that are amazingly funny and just crush rooms that you will never hear of. So yes, that is a lightning strike. I don't even know if it's true now.
Yeah. Man, I wonder how that is, right? To live like that, to live a life like that, where it's just like, hey, you want to have a chance to do this? And you're just like, yeah, fuck it, jump up there and all of a sudden,
and everything just takes off.
Yeah, everything just hits.
Damn.
I'm like, bro, you're a walking, God damn it, I was going to say roulette table, where it's just every chance he hits, it always hits black.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was weird because I've had to really kind of, every step of the way, I've had to build it or make it happen. Like if you build it, they will come kind of mentality.
Yeah.
And it turned out that there had been comedy here before, but at that time there was none. So you couldn't just go out and try it here. So I went where do I go? I went to Austin to try it because number one, if I bombed and it was horrible, no one knows you. Nobody knows me. But I went down there and it was, I remember the light was in my eyes. I could only see like shadows of the people in the front row, and there was laughter. It was fun. It was a good time. I didn't vomit. I didn't puke. I didn't pass out.
Yeah.
And it was exhilarating. I only did 4 minutes, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but I would challenge anybody to try it once. And
it's probably the longest 4 minutes
of your life.
God, sweating.
It's not visible to others, but you can feel like your knees are shaking. You feel like you feel it. You feel it. I mean, you're smiling and giving the game, but it's what they say, like a duck looks calm, but underneath the legs are just going.
Yeah,
it's kind of how it feels. But I really liked it. I came back to San Angelo, and I wanted it here. And I called around to some places. Bars didn't want it at all because I think they saw it as bad business. Because I think after with some more hindsight and information, it turns out open mics are weird because the comics all come, all of them are broke, none of them are drinking, and they're just taking up the table space and taking up the thing. And your regulars, they come in to party, be loud, play pool, get drunk, maybe get lucky. And there's some guy on the mic hoping, pretty much demanding that they shut up, turn around and listen to them.
Yeah.
They don't care. I mean, so
that bar scene's got to be hard.
So it's so for open mics, the bars didn't really want it. I finally got a hold of Stango's Coffee. They actually said yes, but they told us we had to keep it clean. So I essentially had a lot of people from the base that were trying to learn how to do public speaking, coming out and doing cool story bro kind of stuff on the mic. But there was I
like that idea. Cool story, bro.
But there's a lot of stuff. A lot of people were showing up because I was able to invite the students at that time. Now I'm not. It's illegal now because I actually am no longer military, but I am a contractor, and they consider it a conflict of interest. So I can't benefit from that at all. However, but we were packing it out, and then we ended up at a place called Backbeat Music for a little while. And that was cool. We did that for about 2 years. And
where was I've heard of this place?
Backbeat Music. Where's that?
Backbeat Music most recently was at the old Masonic Lodge across from the Cactus.
Yes. Okay.
But previously it was further down. But we were packing out that place really well too, because again, I was still allowed to advertise to the military personnel, and they loved it. But I don't have that benefit anymore, so we don't really draw them.
Sucks.
We don't draw them anymore. But really, I had just started comedy, and it was that if you build it, they will come mentality. So I was essentially producing, promoting, and hosting a show. And once we got to Backbeat, the comics actually wanted to come out. When I was over at Stango's, like I said, there's a bunch of cool story bro kind of stuff, people who had never done it before. But when I got to Backbeat, and they said that they didn't have to be Christian clean. Yeah. Then all of a sudden the comics are willing to come out, because it turns out comics don't like to necessarily be all that wholesome, or they're not all known for that. So so we go out there, the cuffs are off, and they're able to play a lot harder, and it was a lot of fun. But that's pretty much how I got started. Was I went somewhere, I fell in love with it, I came back to San Angelo, and I started the thing here. And that's cool. I don't want to say that I'm a founder of a scene, because yes, comedy existed, but then it didn't exist. So when I was here, it did not exist, and I kind of jump started it.
Okay.
And we've been running it for, like I said, about 9 years now.
That's badass, man.
It seems like, from what I've noticed, it seems like right now it's really popping here in town.
Yeah.
Like it's like you see it everywhere now. There's a lot of people local. I didn't even know there was that many local comics. There's a lot.
Yeah.
And then just the different places in town that have open mic nights. It seems like I didn't realize there was that many places doing it. You know, it's cool. It's like right now there's a good time right now.
Yeah, especially because we reached out to I guess it was Matt, right? Matt Lucero, and he brought Greg Duran.
Yeah,
which introduced us to him, and then that's how we got to know you.
Yeah,
and it was just that it was so cool, you know. And then Matt had Michael Shields on, Matt Cotrere, and it was just, I didn't know that the scene was the way it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And well, it's a little bit wild because it seems like there's a lot of comics. I would say I'd be hard pressed to find 10 comics in town. But what happens is we have 10 comics. Big Spring has 8 comics. Midland has I don't know, 6 to 12 comics, and so it's not necessarily that there's a lot of shows here. So like you have a once a month in Big Spring, you have a once a month here, you have a once a month in Midland, you have a once a month in Lubbock, and West Texas collectively makes a scene. Right. Okay. So instead of having a San Angelo scene or a Big Spring scene, what you have is a West Texas comedy scene. Yeah. So if you have the chops and you're willing to drive and you have the fortitude to do it and the means to do it, then you can chase it. You can chase it all over West Texas and be fed pretty good. But the reason I say that because it seems like we have a lot of comics, but when you go to Austin, they literally have over 2,000 comics. When you go to Dallas, they have over 2,000 comics. Their comic count is in the thousands. Ours is less than a dozen. So we have to to truly put on a show. If we're going, we usually bring in a big name or a traveling name from say Dallas or Austin or one of the major scenes. Somebody with real street cred that people will. When you put them on the poster, people will go to see. Okay, and then Then you'll probably also have a feature that is probably also traveling, and then you'll have a local host and probably a local guest, and that's kind of how the shows are in general are set up. You have a host, and because you have essentially on a comedy show you have 3 professional spots. If it's a larger show, you have a host spot, a feature spot, and a headline spot. A headliner is someone with all the street cred and all the TV credits, and those are the people that when you put them on the poster, that's who people believe they're paying to go see. Yes. All right. The feature is somebody that is trusted at the level, at a high enough level that they can perform for 30 minutes, and no matter what is happening in that room, they gift wrap it to the headliner. That room should be laughing and rolling when they hand it to the headliner.
They warm them up
like
that preheat in the oven.
That way, it's literally like show my age here, but it's like Scottie Pippen just putting the ball up for Jordan and Jordan putting it through the bucket, right? So your first guy up there, a lot of times people call that the bullet spot because when you go into a bar, he's the guy who just. Literally, people have watched him go over and talk to the owners and say, "Can you turn off the TVs? Can we shut down the pool table? Can we shut down this bar and make it about us?" Yeah. Right. And then he goes up there. He has to. He greets everybody. He tells any rules like any special rules like no heckling. He's playing Papa. And then he has to change from Papa into a comic, right? So
that's a weird transition there.
So he's doing the stuff where he's like, take care of your waiter, be respectful, keep your conversation at the table to a minimum. He's laying out all of these rules, and then he has to change the channel and just like that transition into, are you guys ready for some comedy? We have a great show lined up for you tonight. But before I get to introduce these amazing comics, they told me that I could do some time. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to try and make you laugh. Then he does his thing, and for about anywhere between 5 to 7 minutes, and then he's going to introduce the first guest comic of the night, and that's usually going to be a when we say guest comic, that is going to usually be a local, an up and comer, and they've been doing it. They've been noticed at the open mic, so we think they're funny, but at the same time. They're local, and one of the reasons you get a local is because when you get a local, then their family and their friends come out. So you've essentially sold 3 more tables. Yeah. So so you're essentially giving them a spot on a big show, but at the same time you're also filling seats. So it's demeaning to call somebody a bringer, but at the end of the day, the guest comic or the guest spot is what would be considered a bringer. Yeah. Then you have your feature, the trusted element that it doesn't matter if they didn't like the host, they don't like the guy before that 30-minute guy, he's probably also a headliner somewhere. Okay. All right, he's going to turn that room into something that is just atomic. And then once he has the room rolling, he's going to hand it to the headliner. The headliner's up there for 45 minutes to an hour, and that guy is usually like I said, he's somebody with TV credits. He's the guy on the poster that you actually paid to see. So not only have you been looking forward to seeing him all evening, but also the feature actually really just made his work
Yeah.
really, really easy. So the idea is that the show grows and everybody is a team. And because a lot of times people think, well, that guy wasn't as funny as that guy, or that guy wasn't as funny as that guy. But it's not about that. It's about someone has to kick the ball off. All right. Then you have a guest. You hope they hold their own. Then you have the feature, who is absolutely designed to make the house laugh, and then you hand it to the headliner, and the headliner is who he is, and it's his game to lose.
Can I stop you real quick?
Yep.
So as a promoter, do you do the reaching out to like a headliner?
Yes, absolutely.
So when you do that, like, how do you even get in contact with some of these people? I mean, because like some of them you probably have to go through like a manager or some kind of company, or how does that work?
It really depends on what level you're playing at. For me, because once you're around long enough, you have a pretty good network. You've seen people, you've met people, and a lot of business is done face to face. You've made friends. Like I say, this weekend I went to the Tower City Comedy Festival. I met a lot of people from all over the country, but I think other than that, I mean, it's a lot of word of mouth. Like I have people in San Antonio and Dallas that are in my personal network that I can call up and offer them what I can offer them, and they say yes or no, and they'll come out or they won't. But usually it's kind of like that. A lot of it is personal contact. But if you play at, say, Michael Shields level, Michael Shields has the list of all the agents. If he wants somebody and he doesn't have access to them, he knows the agent, and the agent then will contact and figure out how to make the deal work.
Oh shit. Okay.
Right.
Wow.
And so I don't have an agent's list, so I pretty much have to go off a personal network.
Yet.
But,
You don't have agent's
right.
list yet.
Not
but
yet.
yeah, I'm going to break into Mike Shields' house and take his book. but
Rob his little black book.
yeah, pretty much. But that's just kind of how a general show works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So that's pretty much the standard with with most of these comedy shows.
right.
I guess their setup, their comedic setup.
So host, guest, feature, headline.
Okay. See, unfortunately, I wanted to go try to make this show, but I can't. I'm not going to be in town. Of course, I've been holding on to tickets since October, I think.
I'm gonna try and make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now that I know this, I'm going to check because I'm going to be Kevin Hart this weekend in Austin.
Awesome.
So that's where I'll be. Those are I'll say we're at the end of what's it called?
So you don't support local then?
I support local, but the tickets were there. It's a Christmas present,
Yeah, exactly. It's a present.
But I was like, all right, we'll make it,
Yeah.
and that's before we even knew any of the shows. And now that I see that, I'm gonna try to point them out. I'm like, dude, all right. So Kevin Hart's the headliner, and who's this guy? Just to see the progression, because it's kind of cool,
Yeah.
Because before it was just like, all right, see who's coming out next. And it's because you're right. Just like, oh, this guy wasn't that good as the other guy. But they all have their purpose.
Yeah.
They all have their...
I'm sure for something on that level of like Kevin Hart, I'm sure every person involved in that show
Will be a killer.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Every person.
You need a napkin?
No.
Yeah. I don't think you get to hang out with Kevin unless you're a killer.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he personally selects who's going to be on the stage before him. I'm sure
those guys have been on. Besides the local guys, everyone else just follows him wherever he goes. So
They don't need a local guy. It turns out you put Kevin Hart, people are going to sell. There's no need for a bringer there.
That's true. Yeah. Are you going? What's the comedy club you're going to?
I don't know. You're asking too many questions.
Oh.
I know is that I got tickets.
I know of 3 of them over there. So there's Cap City, which is at the Domain.
Yeah.
Of course.
I performed there.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Hey, what?
Yeah. Cap City is nice.
Is it? It looks like it's a nice spot.
But I don't imagine he's in a comedy club. If it's him,
It's probably
an arena.
An arena.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
true.
think it's one of the arenas. So I don't know. The one right off I-35.
Or a convention center.
Either that one or that. There's that concert place. It's right there downtown. Oh my God, Moody Center. That's actually a badass place. Yeah, the Moody Center is actually a really badass place
because I've gone to a concert there.
Yeah, I have too. The way the seating is, it's like
Yeah.
that would be perfect for a comedy show.
I may have to pause this and go tell them to be quiet.
I can't really hear it.
No, I did.
I can hear it, but
it's annoying.
Let me
sorry.
Let me step in. Do they have their door open? Actually, that's what it sounds like. They have their door open.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
We'll deal with it for a minute and see how it goes.
Okay.
Maybe they'll chill out.
Noisy neighbors.
Oh man, I tell you. But I'm still looking for that building. Or actually, as a matter of fact, I won't even say anything until after the podcast.
Okay.
Something.
Yeah.
Something
don't,
cool.
Yeah. Don't tell
Something
nobody.
cool.
Not for y'all.
That's all I gotta say. It's not for y'all. It's for the studio. It's
Yes,
something
yes.
cool.
The other ones that I've been, or I haven't been to, but I've heard of. Of course, Joe Rogan has his, which is the mothership, right?
Oh, right.
And then the there's another one, something gas company or whatever.
The Vulcan.
The Vulcan.
Gas Company.
Yeah, apparently that one's a badass outdoor one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are the only three that I know of that are over there. But I'm sure there's more.
Yeah, I tried to. I mean, Austin's big. It gives me
Oh,
too
yeah.
much anxiety trying to go somewhere. Like I'm gonna go try Terry Black's while I'm there. It better be good, Abraham.
It's amazing.
It better be good.
It's amazing. You better go early because they run out of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, we'll probably go early. Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Austin's pretty big.
Yeah.
They have a lot of stuff going on.
Well,
there.
it's crazy as much as it's grown because we really don't know. I got my in-laws. They live in Manor. She used to live in Austin, and it was great.
She lived like in the perfect spot.
Oh yeah,
She lived in
off McKinney.
Yeah, in SoCo,
Yeah.
South Congress, like the area to be.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
it was great, man. Her rent was cheap. I think it was like $550 a month.
Yeah.
You know, all bills paid. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how would you pull this off?
Yeah.
So, anyways, but it's changed so much down there that it gives me anxiety. I don't like being around a lot of people. My wife for sure doesn't like being around a lot of people.
Really?
Oh yeah, she doesn't like it. She's just like everybody's looking. There's too many people.
You kind of seem like a socialite.
I am. Amy's not.
No.
So unfortunately I can't. If I'm gonna do that, if I'm gonna socialize with people, I'm gonna be by myself.
yeah.
I
Well,
got you.
It's fun that you say that because it turns out that most of the comics I know are also very much introverted.
Really?
And that sounds ridiculous because their favorite thing to do is to create this show and go up and give their show, and then and they're kind of rewarded with that by a room laughing and giving them their energy, right? In the exchange of energy, they kind of seek it. But a lot of them are very much like me. Like if you put me in a room full of strangers and told me to mingle, I'll be in the corner drinking. Right.
Yeah.
It's not what I do. Like I'm very uncomfortable. If you were just to drop me in the center of a bunch of strangers and say, go meet 10 people, I'd be like, oh man, nah.
Yeah.
But if I go there with the intent that I'm prepared for what I've come to do, I'll go up on stage and I'll do my thing and we'll have a good time. But when I get off the stage,
Don't talk to me.
yeah. I mean, I want people. You want to hear you want to hear that you did well. So they come, shake your hand, and be like, "Oh, that was so funny." You take some pictures, and in that realm, I'm good. Yeah. But if I had to go over to the bar and meet like 12 strangers right now,
Couldn't do it. Yeah.
So it's weird, and that's a different skill set.
Yeah. Well, I'm slowly working on that, man. Because now, I used to be, when we first started this, I was real introvert. I would still talk to people and stuff like that, but I wouldn't go out of my way to say, hey, how are you? Hey, whatever the situation might be, right? And now I catch myself. I'm like, okay, I see somebody walking up to me or I see somebody standing there. I'm like, just say something, whatever. I was like, you got to practice because you're on the mic, Mm-hmm. And before it was different because it was just us two, as before the cameras. The cameras changed the whole dynamic. Now people can see what I look like and they see. So if I come across, and I got not really watch what I say, but I got to have some intent of what the stuff that comes out of my mouth because people know what I look like now.
Yeah.
So I do. I make the habit of somebody sitting there. Hey, how are you? How's it going? I'll say something, even though it's something real short, just to kind of break the ice a little bit. I'm like, and then I get back in my truck and I'm like, oh, yeah, you did it. You did it. But yeah, I get it, man. The introvert, a comedian as an introvert, man, that's
it's super common.
Yeah,
like all the time. They really enjoy what they're doing, but the moment they're no longer on the mic,
real quiet.
If you engage them, they'll engage back. But most of us aren't going out of our way to try and mingle, and it's a shame because really that's how networking is done, right?
Yes,
the friendly face, the conversations, the cool hang, but really. I can't speak for all of them. I'm not even I won't say a majority of them, but a lot of them really they want to do the mic thing. They want to do their thing, and then they want to take any love that they can get when they get off of it, when they get off the stage. All right, so afterwards they want to shake hands, they want to meet people, they want to take pictures, but what they don't want to do is go and be like, "So how are you guys doing?"
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah, that is crazy, man. Because I just picture, all right, I'm gonna get ready. I'm about to go on the stage, try to throw my jokes out,
Yeah.
It's almost like putting on a suit of armor, because you're just like,
Going to war.
Yeah, there you go. That mentality. I'm about to I'm about to fix and make this fucking room rumble with laughter, So it is, and in some way, shape, or form, you are putting on a suit of armor. Because I know I do. Every time I come here, I sit this nervous every time.
You're building a one man show, and for better or worse, it's on you. And it's intense. Yeah. But I'll tell you something crazy is I was telling you about Carruthers, Missouri. I went up there and did this bar show, and this is the first time I've really been tested like this. I think number one, the show went great. Like I got a lot of love and a lot of accolades for it afterwards, and a good street cred on it. But the front four tables, they wanted to interact so much that like I had I couldn't find my normal rhythm or my normal cadence. The way my jokes are told, there's a certain cadence or a certain rhythm to it. There's certain transitions. I'm very military. I've built things with a very certain structure, right? And I couldn't find it because like I just had to keep interacting and keep talking and keep they talk shit, I talk shit, and it was just it was ridiculous. I mean, like they were having a good time and they were laughing, and the exchange was making other people laugh. So like it was cool to stick with it. Yeah. And when I'm on the road, and in general, because I'm here in Texas. I was telling you, I'm not a big enough star where a lot of people hire me to do an hour show, so I don't get that much practice, and it's always a lot of pressure to me to think I got to fill an entire hour. 45 minutes, I don't feel that much pressure, but an hour, for some reason, you feel like you're in the championship rounds. Yeah. So, but they made it real easy for me because I spent so much time dealing with them. The feature before me, I told them to light me when I get to 45. That way, I know I have 15 minutes left. Well, my set where I'm normally 25 minutes in. Like she lit me. And so like I'd only gotten through 25 minutes of material and she lit me for the 45-minute mark. That's how far I was ahead. So I didn't get to a lot of my material, but that's okay because my goal was to make that room laugh for an hour. Yeah. But it was so weird to have that much interaction that I probably in that 1 hour, actually I think I was on stage for an hour and 12 minutes, but I think I probably only put down about 30 minutes of material. And it was just, yeah, and that's about, and I don't want that a lot because you don't know if you're going to win, right? Yeah. Like on that on that night, I was sharp enough and I was ready and I was game, but I'm not arrogant enough to think I can have that kind of battle test every time and win. So when
that's gonna be a hard one. Yeah.
So, but it was a good time. I mean, I don't roast people. I don't ever do that, but like they made me.
Yeah. Like, I wonder if there's a such thing as professional hecklers. Or they just go out just to fuck with you. And they know they're good, so they
maybe because that'll test that person.
Sorry, I should say miss. My bad. I shouldn't cuss so much.
That would be a way to test that person on stage. Like, how are you going to deal with it? Like somebody's paid to go out there and be a heckler in order to harden that person up.
Oh, well, I just think they do it. And I say professional. They're just good at it.
So I do got to say this. When I went out to the hallway right now, it's not that loud. I think what it is we're hearing it coming through the vent. I'm kind of wondering if do they have like a Bluetooth speaker that's like close to their vent and it's just carrying over to our vent,
Yeah, I don't know. Do I need to close it?
I mean, I don't know if it'll make a difference. Yeah.
I go yell at them. Shut up. No.
Yeah. I don't really think it's going to carry over on the mic as much because
I can just hear it.
Yeah, we can hear it. But whenever the cops came over when we had Martin Lucero on.
Oh yeah, we had cops.
Yeah. Somebody called the cops on us because they said we were being too loud and we were smoking marijuana.
Awesome.
Right. And I'm like,
yeah. So
brewed coffee.
The cop was like banging on the door, and that didn't carry over. You like okay. I watched that when I was doing the editing, and I was like I get up, but it was like, well, why did I get up? It's like, oh, okay, that must have been when the cops were knocking, but it didn't carry into the mic. So
I was kind of proud of that day. I was like, hell yeah.
It's like bragging rights. It's street cred, right?
It's street cred.
And that was our nerdiest episode ever. We were talking about comic books the whole episode.
Awesome.
I mean, it was the nerdiest episode.
Yeah.
So nerdy that we got the cops called on us.
Like, what are y'all up there? What are y'all doing up there, nerds?
We're doing a podcast.
Was it a nerd podcast? Yes, it is.
Yeah, no, podcasts are weird because like you're saying, there's different levels, right? I had I won't name the name of it because I want it to grow. But like they essentially just got on StreamYard, and it was like we're going to do it on our phones or whatever. And they want to do a wrestling podcast. And the idea is to do it during Raw. So we all have Raw going on in the background
Okay.
and talk about wrestling. And it's weird because I'm not that up to date on wrestling. So I'm talking about different generations. I'm leading weird conversations of like how far back do you go?
Hulkamania.
You know, are you honky tonk man guy? Are you Ricky the Dragon Steamboat? Like
Damn.
we going back to the Mountie,
Hell yeah.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
But we're doing the thing, right? And like it ended up like one of the people wasn't able to get on, so it was just me and one dude talking like FaceTiming on a phone like about wrestling.
Yeah.
With wrestling in the background for like an hour. My wife is like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Talking about wrestling." And when I get done, she's like, "Are you done with your mandate? You watched wrestling with a dude on a phone." And I was just like, "Okay, you don't get it."
No, she gets it. She was just jealous.
Yeah.
But it was funny. It was just like, all right, that's weird.
Yeah. But at this day and age, man, that's so cool though, because two guys can get on the fucking phone. I'm on a freaking phone and talk about stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, today
It's like these live, like you watch like live stream podcasts, or just it doesn't even have to be a podcast. Somebody can just go live and have a buddy on another computer go live with them, and they're engaging with people live as they're doing their.
They do that on TikTok all the time.
TikTok, and some people do multiple. They'll be live
like
on
four
like
of 'em.
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You know, whatever else they're doing it all at the same time. Like, damn, that's pretty cool. That's a lot of engagement. Like, I don't know how you keep up with all the engagement. Like,
you don't. You glance at them, whatever.
answer every once in a while.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's no way. I mean, have you seen some of them streams on the comments?
yeah.
They're just sitting there flooding through, and I'm like, how do you have the time?
The Y-Files, he goes.
Oh,
he-
yeah.
Like, was it once a week? He'll go live.
Yeah.
And if you've ever watched it, like he records them all, so you can watch like old ones. And I mean, the comments just don't stop, man. And
Yeah,
it's
they
just
keep
constantly.
keep streaming.
He'll just like pick one, I guess, and be like, yeah. To answer your question, you know, this is it, and whatever.
Yeah,
So,
so cool.
that's a whole part of the business I don't understand, because like the whole social media thing, like, because I was telling you I recently started TikTok, and I've tried this thing in the past, but for the most part, just this past weekend I said, okay, I gave us TikTok back. I'm gonna go ahead and try it. So I put a couple, but it turns out, because I've had this experience previously with another site, and to catch the algorithm, you have to post every single day.
Yep.
And to really and really it ignores you if you only post once. So you post twice a day. Well, it's hard to create content twice a day if you have a full-time job and you have a family and you're chasing the comedy game, and then you just have so many different things, and you're just like, seriously, before I walk into work, I have to do a thing on TikTok, and then at lunch, during my lunch break, I have to do a TikTok, and then
It's hard.
and so it's and then you try and track it, and then you're insulted. You're just like, I'm doing all this. I got 100 views and 4 likes. This is crap. So,
Yeah.
and then like some panda sneezes in Japan, and by morning there's 3 million views. You're just like, I don't even understand how this thing works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it constantly changes, it seems like. Like,
Yeah.
once somebody thinks, like, I got it figured out, boom, they change the algorithm on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, fuck.
That's why there's so many trends that come in and out, because once you got a handle on it, it's going to change again, so that it brings in a whole nother.
Yeah. And now they've incorporated AI into every one of these
yes.
programs now. So
Seen AI
it's probably going to change even faster,
Right.
because they don't need a
Streams.
person to go in there and change the algorithm when AI can just do it in a matter of seconds. You know,
Thanks, Deep Seek.
Yeah.
Deep Seek. Oh man,
Big words. No, but
Ooh,
no,
don't say that.
but no, part of the comedy festival I was at this weekend, they had panels where people who have made it to the top of the mountain are talking to us and kind of giving us the just insight on the industry itself and where it's at right now, and everybody despises the TikTok star, because it turns out you work 14, 15 years to get noticed in comedy, and someone says something crazy online, and then they have like literally millions of followers.
Yeah, then they go viral.
and then they decide that they're that they want to try comedy, and of course the comedy club hires them because they fill all the seats.
Yeah.
So, and you're just like, that's really annoying. And I guess the walkaway was get better, don't get bitter, get better. So you have to figure out how to be part of that world in order that you have all those followers. That way, when you talk to a booker, they ask you about your online presence, you can say, I have 4 million followers.
Yeah.
On or I released this video and 12 million people saw it on TikTok, 8 million people saw it on Instagram. My face, it's a crazy game, because it doesn't really track the talent of the performer on stage. It is trying to capitalize off of footage, off of this weird online presence or this online footprint.
Yeah.
And it's so it's frustrating to see like your people who said something stupid on the street and then turn around and realize that they're actually taking gigs from people who are super competent and who have been working at the craft or building their professional performance for decades. And then like someone, like you said, says something crazy on the street and all of a sudden they're a bigger deal. And you're just like, this is horrible.
And you start watching these people on TikTok and Instagram. That's where their big leap is. Their big leap is that they say something controversial or they say something that all of us, and it's not even that they literally think this. They just fabricate something, to get people to comment, to get people to start following them. And all of a sudden they're
shock value of it.
They're shocked. There you go. There's shock value. Now all of a sudden their followers and their likes become currency.
And suddenly, and I'll tell you, it's created a weird thing in Austin because their Austin comics are very blue. Like they're trying to, because it's part of their culture to go and wait in line and hope to get pulled to go on Kill Tony. And everybody's trying to have the most polarizing 1 minute bit that they can do. So they are constantly working on the most savage thing that they could possibly say in order that it'll go viral and to get all the attention. So the Austin scene is growing very fast, but it's also growing in a very weird and unnatural way.
Yes. Oh, I totally get it. Because, there was that one girl, she was on Kill Tony, and she said probably one of the most racist jokes I've ever heard in a while, right? She's like,
you don't got to repeat it.
Yeah, I don't got to repeat it. But I'm just like,
he was about to do it too.
Yeah, I was because
racist.
I was just because it was just straight. I was like, God, what? This is a comedy. This is where now So it's it was it funny? Yes, it was funny.
It's what San Angelo does.
No,
is it too soon? Sorry.
Oh my bad. You're talking about the post. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you saw the post.
I didn't see it.
San Angelo Live. Yeah, there were some cheerleaders from Central that post something.
Oh no.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. I mean, were they innocent? Did they know what they were doing? Who knows?
Right.
But it's kind of.
It was supposed to spell the word angry.
Yeah.
It was just missing some letters.
Yeah.
So they're getting shit over.
Just for the 3 letters that were left up there, I mean, it still doesn't spell out the whole word, so it's up to somebody's own mind to come up with that. So you know
what? That's true.
So if your mind comes up with that word, what does that say about you?
Yeah, exactly.
Racist.
I don't know. Racist. That could easily be an argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they're done next door. There was a lot of people leaving. There was babies crying. So
okay.
If that's a boudoir place, that's a lot of people in there for a sexy photo shoot.
Well, it's girls. Man, the girls go to the restroom together.
There was guys too and babies.
Oh no! Yeah, maybe they were done.
Maybe they were doing something extra.
Oh,
it was more than boudoir.
Well, if you ever need a cameraman,
triple extra.
So you mean like a family shoot?
There you go.
That's what you're talking about.
I guess.
Where we're going with
Why do you got to take it there? It's not nice. Okay. No. Man, this is like really interesting. So I see you holding the Jesters of the West.
Maybe I don't do a lot of podcasts. Maybe I'm just.
Can we hold it up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Please. I kind of wanted to show it. So this is. Let me see. Tiffany, how's that coming in there?
It could be zoomed in a little bit. Oh wait, there it goes.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, the Best Jester of the West. This is a competition that's happening this weekend. I had a chance to invite 9 comics from across West Texas to come and join me on the Brooks and Bates Theater stage over at the Performing Arts Center. That show, the doors are open at 7:30. That show is actually, I'm sorry, that show starts at 7:30. So doors open at 7, and if they show up at the B theater entrance is how we're going to let them in. Okay. But they'll come in, they'll have a chance to see to sit, and what you're going to see is comics from pretty much primarily West Texas. And I was telling him this is exciting for me because I've been working at it for about 9 years, and you want to find yourself on a stage like the Brooks and Bates. You want to grow into the Performing Arts Center, and most of us we're at pubs, we're at bars, we're at places that most people would never ever want to go. And, willingly, and we go and we do these things, and we cut our teeth, and that's and we hope to grow out of that someday. And this is a stage that it definitely takes a person that might have been on the grind, working the roads, and going to unknown places, going into bars that they have no idea if it's going to be friendly for you or not friendly for you, and we're going to give them the perfect setup. They're going to be in one of the nicer nicer theaters in West Texas. In West Texas, and they're going to be in front of an audience that's possibly 320 people that are all there designed, for the purpose of seeing comedy. The perfect lighting, the perfect sound, the perfect seating, everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be, and I think it's just exciting because like we don't get that here. Yeah. Like we're 3.5 hours from the nearest comedy club. So just to go spend 10 minutes on a comedy club where you have sound and lighting and seating that is appropriate for what you're doing is 3.5 hours away. And that's why we are in every hole in the wall place that we can find trying to practice our craft, because we want to grow into the club and then grow from the club to the theater. So given the opportunity to be on this stage is amazing. And I think that it's amazing for the comics, but I think it's even more amazing for the family and the friends and the supporters of those comics, because they've gone and they've had to be in the back room of a restaurant. They've had to be in your random pub. They have followed their guy. Mm-hmm. To places that they would never go if their guy was not there, right?
Yeah.
And they've supported their people in horrible places, and I think that they have, and this is their opportunity to see their favorite comic or the person they support on a big stage in the perfect setup and kind of a dream scenario. So some of these people have toured. They've been in the biggest shows. They've been in clubs. They've been on theater stages, but there's a few of these that I promise this is going to be easily the biggest thing they've ever done.
Yeah. Can tickets be bought online, or are they all at the door, or how is that?
No, they can be bought online. Actually, if you go to the San Angelo Performing Arts Center homepage, they have the ticket links, or they have the tickets there.
Yeah.
But also they can be bought at the doors. I think that the place holds, I want to say just shy of 320, and I think that we have about 160 or so tickets sold. So we have a large crowd, but there's a potential for it to be much larger. Yeah. So I'm hoping people.
So there you go, guys. If you got nothing to do this weekend and you're listening to this, we're going to drop a couple shorts. Check it out.
I was about to say this episode won't come out until the week after, but we can probably maybe pull. I might be able to pull something off of it. I don't know if Tiffany has time.
Yeah.
But I'll try and pull something to put out by Friday or Saturday at the latest.
So if you got nothing else to do and you want to go check out some funny comedy,
Jesters of the West.
Jesters of the West this weekend at the
San Angelo Performing Arts Center.
At the San Angelo Performing Arts Center, guys. Y'all check it out.
I'll tell you something crazy.
Hurry up before the tickets run out.
That's right. Tell you something crazy though is they're going to get an awesome title, right? Like because when we were building this contest, there's so many generics out there. Like you get funniest in San Antonio, funniest in August, Dallas's funniest comedian, funniest in Texas, and everybody's stuck on this funniest thing. We wanted it to be different. We wanted it to stand out and not sound like the funniest of San Angelo or West Texas's funniest or whatever.
Yeah.
So, it's so generic and it's so uncreative. So the Best Jester of the West is the title that they're competing for. So when they win, that person will actually be, until we do it again, we're trying to do this twice a year, but that person will be awarded the title of Best Jester of the West. They're going to get a nice shiny belt buckle.
That's cool.
So the winner will get a cash prize. They're also going to get a belt buckle, and they'll have that nice title of Best Jester of the West. If nothing else, that'll be their resume thing that they can put on there. And when they advertise themselves, they can advertise themselves as winner of the Best Jester of the West comedy contest. And
that's awesome.
So it gives them a credit that they can advertise themselves with, and I think that's pretty great. And if I know of somebody like Greg Duran wins it, he'll never wear an untucked shirt again. He's gonna wear that. He's gonna wear that belt buckle. He's gonna tuck his shirt deep. And he's gonna, like, did you win that at the rodeo? No.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah. That's funny because I know if I won it, I'd even change my stance. I'd be like the cowboy.
That's right.
Shirt tucked in, kind of kick out the leg a little bit.
Lean up against the vehicle like it's a farm truck.
Heck yeah.
Buy a new wardrobe. My entire wardrobe will be focused around my belt buckle.
Hell yeah. No, that's funny. That's hilarious.
No, that's cool, man. That's really cool. I'm gonna try and make that. I'm gonna really try and make that.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for a lot of comics that are trying to really get a name for themselves.
So I got a question for you.
Yep.
When somebody wants to start off with their first open mic, you know, now I'm not saying that's going to be the place, but
Right.
what advice would you give them? Because we had one of our guests that was here.
Yeah, I'm asked this a lot, and I have this built-in response that nobody wants to hear.
Yeah.
But it's so much work and so much heartache, and you go through so many hard rooms, and there's so much dedication involved that I'm like, don't. Like, why would you put yourself through that?
Yeah.
Right. like, and you don't know that there's that much drama and that much trouble and that much turmoil. Like it's not a road for someone who just wants to play.
Yeah.
It's a road for someone that really is ready to work. So I think, in general, if someone's just like, oh, I think I should try it. My friends say I'm funny. I'm like, nah, bro. Yeah. Don't do it. But if they are insistent and they truly want to give it a go, I'd say go somewhere where people don't know you. Because my piece with this is when people do it locally, their friends and their family, they come out and these comics really think that they're funny because the audience is loaded with people who are ready to give them all the love and support they can possibly get. Mm-hmm. I'd say go as far away from here as you feel comfortable. Find an open mic in Big Spring or Midland or Lubbock or San Antonio. Go somewhere and be in a room full of strangers.
Yeah,
that's how you test yourself. And
that's how you'll gauge yourself.
But also, like, if you suck, your friends and family didn't have to sit through that, and that's that's a funny thing. But they don't want to see you fail. They don't want to see you do bad. And early on, musicians will hate me when I say this. All right, I'm sorry, musicians, but it turns out that. And by the way, I'm not a musician. I can't do what they do, so I'm not going to disrespect them. But I'll say that a musician can learn how to play your favorite song and then play it for you, and you're going to sing along with it. Uh-huh. Even if they play Piano Man really bad, you're still going to sing Piano Man with them.
Yeah.
All right? They all know how to play Mustang Sally because they can learn how to play. They can look at other artists, and they can be a cover band, and they can really learn their craft. They can learn how to be in front of an audience. They can learn how to move an audience. They can learn how to play their music. They understand their instrument. They understand how the business works. Mm-hmm. A comic can never do that. A comic can never tell somebody else's joke. I can't go up there and tell you your favorite jokes from Seinfeld. I will be considered uncreative, a hack, and a thief.
Yeah.
Right? That's just how it is. So you have to, out of the gate, be writing your own stuff and building your own act. And turns out you've never done this before. You don't have experience. So early on, you suck.
Yeah.
And you suck for a long time. And when you decide to change your act or you want to do something different, you don't know that it's going to work. And you may suck again.
Yeah.
It's just how that is.
Yeah.
And so I would say, I'd want you to perform as often as you could without performing in front of your friends and your family. And that way, yes, they'll come and support you when you suck.
Yeah.
But you don't want them, but you don't want that. You want them to see you doing well, right? Well, after they've seen you suck 12 times, they feel like they've supported you, and then they stop coming out. And then when you start to do really well, we've already done that. We've been to your shows, Chris. We know what you do, Chris. And at that point, you've lost that support. And all those people that you love and you want them to see you do well, they pretended you did well when you sucked. But now that you're doing well and you're doing big things, now's the time you want them to come back and see you. But now very few of them are willing to come back and see you because they were there during the bad times, and not all of them are going to be around for the good times because you wore that road out already.
Okay.
And I think that's my advice is don't perform in front of your friends and family until you actually have some chops, because otherwise, yes, they'll offer you support. They're there to lift you up, but maybe you should already be up before you show them. That way you show them a show that's worth seeing, and they don't have to pretend to love you. Yeah. They can actually really love you.
Oh yeah. Okay. Don't let them see you do the work.
Right.
I like it.
Everything all right?
I was getting a little bit annoyed, but they left before I got outside. So.
That's my enforcer right there.
Yes. So cut your teeth away from your friends and family. That way
you get some honesty there.
That way, when you do perform in front of your friends and family, you have something to offer them of value, as opposed to, I'm going to try this thing. Will you guys come out and support me? Don't ask for support. You go get your show put together, then come show off.
You hear that, Pete?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
He wanted
Pete
to.
He wants to do that.
Someday, there you go. Go somewhere else. Don't come.
And I believe that's what we even. I believe that's what we even
yuck.
told him at one point. Was like, go somewhere and get a
don't
bomb.
burn. Bomb somewhere else. Don't burn your hometown. Bomb somewhere else. Grow your act. When you get good, then bring it to the house.
That's some good advice.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's cool.
That's why no one.
That's why we need to move this podcast out of town.
That's why I don't. Well, like my family, I don't tell them that I got, unless they saw one of my posts.
I don't really bring it up to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
most of our love comes from people I don't even know.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So. I do have another show I want to.
Go ahead and plug it.
I want to plug because obviously the best Jester of the West. That's what I came here to really promote, because I'm the producer of this, or me and Yuki Kanayuki. We kind of co-produced this one, so that's my baby and my first shot with the Performing Arts Center. But next week we have Mike Shields, myself, and Yuki have kind of partnered to bring in April Massey. And I don't know if you know who April Massey is.
I've heard of her.
All right, but she's been on Snoop Dogg's Bad Girls of Comedy. She's been on Tiffany Haddish's They Ready. But she tours all over the world, and she has done some really, really big things. And the lady is hysterical. So, but we have that next week, and I would say don't miss that unless you just have to. I mean, that's a really, really good show in a great theater, and we're really happy to present her in that particular spot.
Yeah. What theater is this?
I'm sorry?
What theater is this?
That's also the Brooks and Bates Theater.
Same theater, okay.
At the Performing Arts Center.
Okay.
And that's next Friday.
Heck yeah. I'll be here for that.
You'll be here for that.
I'll be here for that one.
You should not miss it.
You gonna take me?
I'll take you. Double date.
Aww.
Oh no, I'm not double date.
It's a business thing. All right.
It's a
I'm kind of like prove
network.
it. I'm like prove it. Pull out your phones. Buy tickets.
Damn. He called us out.
No, because I do need to make more of these shows. Like I was telling my wife this. Every picture that I look, when somebody's promoting something, I look in the pictures, the pictures everyone takes, I'm sitting there scrolling through them. Guess who I see in all these pictures? Ronnie Cajas.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, man. Look at that.
He's in all the biz.
He's in all of them. And I'm like, bro, I need to be more like
Ronnie's
him,
cool, though, man.
Yeah, he's cool.
I like the hell out of Ronnie. Cool.
Everywhere I go, man, he seems there. I was like, hey, what's going on, Rodney? He's like, what's up?
Yeah.
And I'm like, everywhere I go, if somebody's doing something, he's there.
He's there.
And I'm like, that's
he's
cool,
a good
man.
supporter of everything local, then.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't know if you know him. Ronnie Cajas was Street Eats.
I don't know him personally.
No. Yeah, well, he was at, I guess, yesterday they had a show at the Clarion. Was the Clarion?
Yeah, the Clarion. On Tuesdays, the Clarion it's real new. Actually, Greg Duran, this is Greg Duran's baby.
Okay.
But at the Clarion, they have an open mic. I believe it starts at 8 on Tuesdays. I can't really speak for it. I've been kind of out of town or occupied, so I haven't been able to be there yet. But Greg is really excited about it, and it seems like it's a favorable spot to go. So I'll be making that out. I'm making it out there as soon as I can. But the Clarion Hotel, I think it's in their bar there. I think it's called the ArcLight. Yes.
Okay.
So they're in the ArcLight, but he's running that every Tuesday, and I really hope that scene grows, because our guys need a chance to go cut their teeth and in something that's not a pro show. It's weird to me, because I think that the mixed open mics that have musicians, like the musicians see it as a business opportunity, so they go play their 3 best songs, right? They want to shake hands, they want to show off, but comedians they need a place to go run new material without it being a professional show. So if you have something new, and we always have to be writing, we always have to be growing our show or changing our show, because otherwise, if you come back, you don't want to see me do the same thing I did a month ago. Mm-hmm. And that's what I run into when I perform here every single month. Is I don't write. I write, but I have a full-time job and a family. I can't be writing every single day the way a person would if they're trying to create a whole new show every month.
Can I do what I do real quick and cut you off real quick and just interrupt? The process of it, when you're so you write, you wrote out a joke, you're going to go to the ArcLight and try it out. So while you're there, you're trying out the joke, what are you looking for? Like response from the audience, and change a different line or something, or
in general, that's if I was to go to an open mic and really want to get something out of it, I would film it. And the challenging thing is I don't know the ArcLight. I know most bars you go to in West Texas, those people did not expect comedy, and they're not even paying attention to you. So it's hard to really gauge an audience. But
that's true.
But yeah, if it does make the room laugh and pop, that is awesome. But also it gives you a chance in a public setting to get on a mic. The other comics are hearing you, and that's a great thing because number one, you're capturing it on film. You get a chance to play back. This is in a real life scenario how I performed, and this was my cadence, and this is what I would change. And you can think about it when you go back and look at it. But also, fresh other eyes and other creative minds will see your premise and see what you're doing. And a lot of times, we all know each other. We'll punch it up.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, that was hilarious. I have a couple tags for you, and someone offers you a tag, and then that might change your what you decided is your overall punchline, or it may give you two more things to say on that topic that actually you got that initial laugh, and here's two more follow-up laughs, right? So a lot of times it's not necessarily being in front of the audience, because a bar audience that does not expect or care if you're there, that doesn't do you any justice, right? That's not an audience. That is. They were surprised, right?
Yeah.
They were surprised. Yeah, they didn't come to see you. They came to play pool, or they came to watch the game. They came to do anything but watch you. So I think that the bystanders at a bar usually do not help you in any way, shape or form. But what happens is you are seen by other comics, and if nothing else, those are creative minds, almost like a writing situation. They heard what you did, and then they all have. And they'll come to the side on the slide, because it's not official. They're like, "Oh, dude, that one joke was awesome, and I think that I have something else to add to it if you want it." And then they'll say, and they'll offer it up, and you'll either take it or you won't, or you'll put it into play or practice, or you won't. But I think that's the real benefit. Is I'm looking to be in front of my peers. And it'd be cool if someone in the room also wants to watch, but really I'm trying to film and I'm trying to hone. And, so you look back at your video and say, okay, yes, this is how I want to say that, or this is how.
Okay. Your delivery.
Yeah. You're working on you're working on you, and you hope that there's an audience, but on a Tuesday night in a bar in West Texas, I do not expect that there's going to be an audience that's going to come over and really be of much use.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong, but I think, you're going to work on you, and you hope that there's somebody there to appreciate it.
Oh, hell yeah.
But catch it on film. That way, when you play it back, you can actually do the, okay, I need to cut this, or I need to get to this quicker, or what a crappy transition that was.
Yeah.
I can do
It's
better.
like a writer's room.
Right.
Like,
that's exactly what it is. It's being used like a writer's room.
Okay. See, I'd be looking at him and be like, I got him. See if I can keep him.
Yeah. I always wondered that, because I remember we went and saw Felipe Esparza one year. He came here. He was at what is that place?
City Hall?
City Hall, yeah. And he was working out a few jokes up there. And he actually had a notepad on him, which I thought was kind of cool, which I kind of feel like some other people, they're like, what? Like, we paid for this show. Why is he working it out on us? But I mean, hey, that's his opportunity to work something out.
I'd rather see that, man. I think that's cool.
Yeah,
See,
he was working out a joke.
You're watching the art and forming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. It is wild to see that. But in that situation, I mean, everybody knows who he is. He's a celebrity. So if you're seeing him work out new stuff, you're literally seeing a celebrity comic do something that nobody else has ever seen, and that is cool as hell.
Yeah.
But I think, but at the open mic, and that's the weird mentality, right? Because my mentality is different. I'm going there and using it, like she said. I love that she used that term, like a writer's room, but I'm using it like a writer's room. Other people see it as a challenge. That motorcycle guy over there that's looking mean and doesn't want anything to do with you and just wish you would shut up. They're like, I'm going to win him. I'm like, brah.
Good luck.
like I can win them. I can turn them around. They're all watching like the championship NCAA game, and you're just like, I'm going to make them stop watching that championship game, and they're going to pay attention to me.
Come on, chuckle for me, goddamn it.
And I think that is insane.
Yeah.
But no, I will do weird things. So like in an open mic like that, I do want some attention. I mean, at the end of the day, we wouldn't do it if we didn't want attention. We're attention whores. We are.
I was just gonna say that. I was like,
so you can call it what it is. But I would say that the tricks that I do, particularly, don't give me a cordless mic, because that changes things, right? Because like I don't want to name any of the bars in town because it doesn't paint them in a great light. But I went to an open mic a while back, and again, you're hijacking a room. That's what you're doing. And they're sitting at the bar, and maybe they're half listening with the ear, but you have 18 empty tables in front of you, and then you have like 9 people at a bar, and then there's like 60 to 80 feet between you and the closest person. There's no energy change. There's nothing of value. So what do? You take that cordless mic, you jump off stage, you walk through all those tables, you stand right next to the bar and give some kind of presence. And you're kind of bullying them, right?
Yeah.
Like they wanted nothing to do with you. Otherwise, they would have sat at those tables in front of you. They would have been very attentive. And here you are. You cross the room with a cordless mic to speak to them from 6 foot away from them. And they're just like, this guy, right?
I'm here to draw my beer. You're talking.
It would be easier to engage with those people.
But yeah, closing the distance at least gives you a fighting chance. But in that scenario, if they wanted to listen to you, they would have come. They would have come and sat at the tables. It's kind of a weird thing, man. I don't know. like at a paid bar show, at least they paid to see comedy. Like they know you're there.
Yeah.
But you go to an open mic in a random bar in West Texas, and those people want nothing to do with you. And you're just like, you will listen to the word I say. You will laugh. You will enjoy me. Do you not know who I am?
I don't have the self-confidence for that, because I would be in a bar trying to tell jokes and nobody's listening to me. I'd be saying some of the most morbid stuff.
Just trying to get a rise out of somebody.
Not even. I'm like, I guess I'm just a ghost here. I'm going to walk out into traffic here in a little bit.
And it hurts your soul, because like at a low level, I do tour all over the country, right? Like it's not like I'm somebody who's brand new or just I'm going to see how comedy works for me, right?
Yeah.
Like I really do. Like I've been to Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Colorado, Texas. I realize that those are the flyover states, but I'm making the rounds. And I'm doing the thing. I have a full 1 hour act. And then like you go into an empty bar on Tuesday night and they completely ignore you, and you're just like it resets the clock. You're just like, this is,
well, it's got to be hard. My ego's
like you're going places and you're blowing up rooms, and you go into a bar in San Angelo, Texas, and like the 9 people in there are looking at you side eyed, like, would you shut up? And you're just like,
my ego couldn't handle it.
Do you actually have a 1 hour act?
I do.
Yeah.
And that's impressive.
But,
I don't know why. I'm just like, wow. I couldn't imagine coming out with enough material to fill 1 hour.
Yeah, I think that if someone was full time, they could probably do it pretty quick. I'm not full time, so it's taken me 9 years to do it. But no, you try not to throw anything away. You capture whatever material you have.
Yeah.
Remember what works. And when I'm writing, I always try and figure out where in my current act could I put that, right? So it's not like I'm writing a joke just to be like a brand new joke. But when I write a joke, if I'm going to hold on to it, I'm already trying to figure out where in my master set would it go.
Yeah.
So you're always building. So it is built in segments, 5-minute segment, 7-minute segment, 10-minute segment. But what's the transition that would get me to that next segment and make this show still flow and make this show still work? So it's taken me 9 years to get it. I'm fortunate enough that I've traveled around to do the 1 hour show. But I was telling him earlier is it's hard for a Texas comedian to do that, and because you can't do it in Texas. We have people with legitimate big time television credits in Houston and Dallas and Austin and places that are drivable. So like we can get these big acts. Why would they ever hire me to do a 1 hour show when you can get somebody who's been on Saturday Night Live, right? Mm-hmm. Why would you do that? So for me to get that kind of work, I'm working I was telling, I'll drop the name of this company because they've done me right. They've done me really well. It's weird because they don't have anything in Texas. So everything they've had me do, I've had to drive 10 hours to get to, perform, and then the next day drive 10 hours back. And that's chasing the dream. That's true hunger.
Yeah.
And I would tell you that in general, they pay me $300 and no room, which means it barely covers or barely takes care of itself. But what it does do is it gives me a chance to actually do the 1 hour show. And I think I've done it in, I want to say 9 states. Wow. But I've had a chance to get around and grow into that role. In general, if like the nearest club to us, the nearest actual club that's going to be set up properly for you is 3.5 hours away. You're going to Austin, you're going to San Antonio, you're going to Dallas, and those are the closest clubs that you can even imagine. So everything else is a random hole in the wall bar that you hope that you can win, right? But it's not set up for a performance, not the way you would at a club or at a theater. So it's really a lot of work. But that 1 hour show, I have the company's called Bar Comedy USA. They're stationed, or their home is in Las Vegas, but what they do is they take all these up and coming bars and clubs from around the country in really small communities, maybe places where they would not normally get live entertainment, and they send us there. They call it the missed masses. That's putting lipstick on a pig, right? But they call it the missed masses. But I've had a chance to perform in small towns all over the flyover states. Yeah. So like I said, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Kansas, Colorado. I've had a chance to go into towns that have less than 400 people population. But you go in there and they 60 to 80 of them show up, and you have the time of your life, and it's a very crazy scene because they've never had. A lot of times I'm the first comedy show that they've ever seen, and they have a great time, but they don't necessarily know what to expect. Yeah. And sometimes I wonder if they're going to receive me well, because the only comedy they've ever seen is their favorite comedian on Netflix. So your gauge of comedy is a multi-million-dollar act, and you're getting Chris Crawford. And I'm just like, this is
there's some pressure there.
And so if they walk away and had a good time, you feel pretty good about it because you've walked in and you've done something they've never had a chance to experience. But at the same time, like, you get half of the room just looking at you like, you ain't no Bill Burr. And you're just like, yeah, no shit. You paid $10 to get in here. Maybe tailor your expectation.
Yeah, that's funny.
So with your bit, do you like whenever you do a show and you were talking about transitions, do you like? Is it really dependent on like the gauge of the audience and what you see before to know how you're going to transition from one set?
I have my perfect game plan of how it would go, and then you have whatever's in front of you, which will dictate how it will go.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
So, but in general, I have a full 1 hour show that's designed exactly the way I want it. Then I have what happened in Crothersville, where I had to just deal with what was ever in front of me. I didn't even get through a third of my material because I was so busy interacting with them, and it was wonderful. We had a great time, but. At the same time, I don't want to be tested like that all the time, because you spent 9 years building a show. It'd be really cool to give your show and then they just love it and appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
I feel like that would be very hard to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes a certain kind of person, because I know I couldn't do it. I'm too fragile.
I know. I take out
my ego couldn't handle that.
Like you said, my
I get mad too easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking laugh, goddamn.
Yeah, I would say that not this October, the previous October, I had a real hell gig that reset everything, because you think that you have it figured out. And that's the crazy thing, is you will have 15, 16, 17 straight shows that you're like, I got this. Like, this is, I'm a comedian, right? Like you're tearing down houses, or at least doing moderately well, where like you walk out and you're like, yeah, I won tonight. Right. And then like you'll go into a place, and I'm going to dime them out, to hell with them. And I went to a place, I think it's called the Starlight Lounge in Midland. It's about as classy as it sounds. I'm going to explain this, and I'll explain another one too, just because it's
a classy story. Hotel named the same thing.
But the
Star Motel on North Chadbourne.
Probably.
Or Sands Motel.
Sands.
Yeah. So I went there, and
classy.
I pulled up, and I was booked by a guy who was just traveling, and it was an off night show for him. But you do that to stay, to when you're on the road, you take anything, because one more payday keeps you on the road, feeds you, gives you a room, and that kind of thing. So I go out there, and I'm going to be a support act for him, and I'm booked for like 30 minutes for a ridiculously low price, like $50, and I'm just doing it just to get my reps in, right? And I go out there, and like you said, I've been winning. I feel good about this. I'm going to go in there, and no matter what the situation is, we're going to turn this room. Well, I pull up, and number one, it's raining, right? And rain, okay, no problem. Weather's weather. But it is a single-story, small, square building made out of like cinder blocks, and painted blue, and it's got no windows, and there's like, and I feel
like I've been here before.
It's full of like just and like just potholes. So when you pull in, you just like pop, you just slam your vehicle. Like, this is nothing but small lakes and puddles is what has turned into. And I went up to the door, and like there was a board stretched across one of these potholes. I had to walk across like a 4x4 to get to the door. And like the door is like, its lock is on the outside. It's one that you'd put a padlock on. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I walk in, and they do have kind of a performance area, but it doesn't have any lights, any spotlights, no nothing. It's completely dark.
Was there a pole in the middle of this thing?
No.
You gotta ask.
It's worse. What they did have was they had electronic slot machines all the way around, right? So people are in there playing slot, trying to win money, and then you had a pool table in the dead center that was lit up like the break of dawn. My stage dark as hell, but that pool table lit up like crazy, and a bar that wrapped around the place. Well, around the far end. And I know I'm being very detailed, but I'm trying to paint this for you. And so I get in there, and I'm like, it's all right. But the first thing someone said was, they said, "Are you guys in the right place?" like there's no, like, I checked their website. There was no advertisement for us. There was no flyers. There's no posters. There's no nothing. Nobody expected us. Yeah. So now we're in a place that is clearly not for us, but we're contracted to do the thing because it's how it is. Yeah. So we try to do the thing, and the people sitting down, they sat facing away from us. Like, and the closest people to us were like 4 foot away. Damn. And like, so we're standing there, and we're selling it. We're giving our bit. And these people didn't even turn around to look at us. Oh, and the people on the slot machines, well, they're trying to win big. They're sure as hell not going to turn around. And there was one guy, and he was standing off in the corner. And remember, I'm there to do a 30-minute set, and I have, like I said, I have a winner's mentality. I'm there to do it, right? Heck yeah. And I'm doing my set, and I try to keep it fairly clever. I mean, yes, there's adult themes and there's dirty stuff, but I try to be very clever with it. Mm-hmm. And the guy interrupted me. He said, "This is a bar, right?" Like very aggressive, right? And I looked over, and he must, and he said, I said, "It's a bar, right?" I was like, "All right, cool. All right." So I was like, "Oh yeah, dick and fart jokes. That's what I'm supposed to do at a bar, right?" So I tell him a couple of those, and he seems appeased. Then I go back to try and be clever, and he didn't have any of it. He turned back around and said, "It's a bar, right?" I was like, "Oh yeah, let me dig into my bag of dicks. I forgot. I'm sorry for your camera, but
oh no, you're good.
But this is real." And he said, then he said good night, and I was like, "Cool, he's gonna leave." And what he meant was, "Good night, you're done." And I'm like in a hostile environment on the wrong side of Odessa. Like, this is the kind of place, that if somebody murdered you, no one would know about it for like weeks. Yeah. Like, nobody would even remove your body. You'd be like decoration in the corner. So so I told him good night, and I introduced the main act because it was only a 2-man show, and that was, and God bless him. He stood his ground for the entire hour that he was contracted to be there. But I was contracted for 30 minutes, and I let a heckler run me off stage 8 minutes in. Damn. I was like, bro, you don't even have to pay me if you don't want. He's just like he ended up hitting my Cash App anyway. Yeah. But I wasn't gonna take the money. I was just like, because you hired me for 30 minutes, and I let a heckler hand me my own ass in like 8 minutes, and I was just, this is ridiculous.
I would have been in the parking lot, sitting in my car, like, what am I doing?
But you have those things. Like, I've driven out Fort Stockton. That's like a 3-hour drive, and I was driving home the same night. And I remember, this has been a few years now. Like you said, I've been doing pretty good. Like two Octobers ago, that's when last time I really felt like, wow, that was horrible.
Yeah.
But I remember going out to Fort Stockton, and they just iced me. Like, they just looked at me and like was chewing their catfish, because it was like they did like a catfish dinner that night. And I like at an Eagles Lodge, and I was just like. That really hurt my feelings, because I'm up there like selling it, like I'm giving them all my energy, and they just looking at me like I am a damn alien. And I'm just like I drove, and then you get back in your car and you drive for 3 hours, and that's how long you get a chance to think about what just happened. What am I doing with my life, right?
Oh man, that's stewing for a long time right there.
Yeah. How about the very first time you killed it?
The very first time you killed it. I'm trying to think of where that was at.
I'm sure you remember the first time. You went up.
The first time that was really just a thrill, like the best thrill. It was a 10-minute set. I was performing with actually Dean Edwards from Saturday Night Live. He came, and him and Dennis Gaxiola, they came and performed on the bass, and they gave me a 10-minute guest spot. And it's crazy because I'm an instructor on the bass. All right. Yes, I have killed it at the backbeat music, but like those are my students, right? Well, now we're on at the theater, and all of that building that I work in, they know me, right? So they come out and they turn out big, and I don't know that I was a great comic or understood what comedy really was, but what I did know how to do was talk to a military crowd. And I had them, I hit them with a hula hiss, and they all hula back. And there's 480 people in there, and I'm doing call and response, and they're all responding. And for that 10 minutes in a room full of over 400 people, I couldn't have done anything wrong. Like on that day, I was able to walk on water. And I think,
that's badass.
And so you're on your home turf, you're on the base, you're in the base theater. It holds like 440 people. There's almost 400 people in the room. Like the place is booming. And I did a really good job in front of a Saturday Night Live act that is, you want to that, because nothing else, when you're in front of a star or you're in front of somebody big, you don't want to suck.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I remember being in the green room. He's like, "Man, you look nervous," and or you look a little nervous. He's like, "Don't worry about this." And he's like, "It's a big room, lots of people, but we do this. This is what we do." And in my head, I'm like, "This is not what I do." But I ain't telling him that. He's just like, he's getting in his zone. He's got his headset on. He's like, "This is what we do. It's just another show." I'm like, "It's not just another show for me, brother."
Man, I want to be where you're at. You have that kind of mentality. Right. That's badass.
Yeah, but so he's in there. They're in their zone, and to them, it's just another show. This is what they do. But for me, it was the biggest thing I'd ever done, and it was, "Please don't suck today," which, by the way, is going to be very much true for these guys come Saturday.
Yes.
They're gonna step onto that stage. They're gonna look out there, hopefully see 200 plus people, and they're gonna be like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
and like I said, some of them, this is what they do. But there's gonna be at least 3 or 4 of these guys that are gonna be like, "Oh my god!" And there will be so there'll be a reality check of who's got the nerves and who's got the chops to stand in that spot. But on that night. I call it lightning in a bottle, and it was very early on in the venue I wanted to be in, and it worked out perfectly. God. So thank you for asking that, because that's awesome, that's a great memory for me.
Heck yeah, no, that's
because everybody always remembers the worst one they had, but how about the best one you had? You know what I mean? Like that's one that I want to hear.
The worst one was some building in Odessa.
I thought I was going to die
in Murderville.
There's another story though. Can I tell you?
Sure, yeah.
I was in a place in Big Spring, and this place is closed down now. Saying I'm going to throw shade at them too. I'm going to name their name because no, it was a place called the Desert Flower. It's about as classy as it sounded, right? And I went into the Desert Flower, and
the Desert Flower
is very weird, but but it's a place in downtown Big Spring where people really like to party. I mean, they really like to go in there and party, and it's a spot. So I go in there, and I'm sitting and I'm watching. Now I should be helping somebody else. Somebody else is setting up chairs and doing all the stuff, and I'm being a jerk. I'm just not. I'm just like, for some reason I was slacking, but I was sitting and watching somebody play pool, and what can I say on this mic that's not going to get us in trouble?
Oh no.
Okay.
You clearly haven't listened to some of our stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It shows.
so I'm there, and I'm watching this guy play pool, and this is a true story, 100%. And he turned around, and he said, "Hey, are you one of the comics?" And I'm trying to play it down. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to tell some jokes tonight, like like I'm some big shot." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to tell some jokes." And he said, and then he turned around and he said, "You better not say any shit about me on that mic." And I'm like, this is weird. I said, all right, cool. I'm not a roaster. It's not what I do. And he said, you better not say any shit about me on that mic. And then he pulled a knife and put it in my stomach.
Dang.
And he said, you know what, funny man, you have some funny shit to say it now. And I was like, no, I'm good, man. Now I'm like, I'm trying not to like just cry like a little baby. I'm just like, no, I'm good. I mean, that's not what I do. And he says, you know what? Say some funny shit, funny man. And I looked at him, and I looked at the pool table, and I looked back at him, and I pulled. This sounds savage, but like, trust me, I was scared. But I pulled the oldest insult I could find right out of my high school days from a pool hall back in Missouri, and I said, man, you play pool the same way I make love, everything in but the balls. And and he thought that was cool. He put his knife away. He said, I want to buy you a shot. I said, no, I'm good. He said, I want to buy you a shot. So I said, fine. So I went over, I drank a shot of Absolute, and that was that was fun. And I tell that not necessarily because I think it's funny, because it was, maybe in hindsight it is, but I tell that because that's kind of the story of the West Texas comic, right? Like, you don't know what you're walking into. And in this instance, I disarmed a knife-wielding bandit with a joke. And that is some West Texas comic shit.
That's actually badass. Yeah. That's a hero story right there.
But
again, I had the same instance, but I was in Carlsbad, New Mexico.
But again, I don't want to be
shit.
Yeah. Don't want to be tested like that often.
No, hell no.
No.
We were playing pool, and this guy comes up and he's like, I got next. And I'm like, no, me and my supervisor. He's like, no, we're playing pool. He's like, I said I'm next. Like that. And he gets his quarters and he puts it on the table, right there, the little coin.
Oh, yeah, the holder.
And I was like, no, man, we're good. And I'm a little, I get drunk. I get 10 foot tall and a little bit bulletproof, and he takes his shirt off, right? And he takes a fucking knife out, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn it. Well, I'm sitting there looking at this guy, and he looks crazy. And he's got a scar from here all the way down. You'd think he was an anime character.
Like Sagat from Street Fighter.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Like that. And I'm sitting there looking at him, and I'm like, yeah, man, whatever you want to do. This guy, I can see the crazy in his eyes.
Yeah.
Right. So anyways, I finished the game. I win. We started playing, and I started bullshitting with the guy because I'm like, I don't want him to just, I want to try to cool the situation down because he's mad.
Yeah.
This whole time we're playing, I'm just like, this guy, what's his problem?
He's pacing back and forth.
Yes, and I'm just like,
throwing his knife at the wall.
So I'm like, hey, man, I'm going to, the waitress comes by. She's like, can I get you anything? I was like, I'll take another beer. I was like, hey, buddy, you want anything? It's on me. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'll take a triple neck, what's called a whiskey and Coke. Well, Jack Daniels and Coke. And I'm like, get him whatever he wants. I'm not even about to do this, But man, after that, he calmed down. We played the game back to back because my supervisor, he's like, I want nothing to do with it. I'm out. I'm gonna go back to the room. I was like, you're not leaving until I go with you. I was like, we're leaving this bar together.
Yeah.
And it's the bar inside the Best Western. So
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's part of the Best Western.
We are in where? In Carlsbad?
Carlsbad, New Mexico.
Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome.
Oh no, I was freaking out the whole time because I'm like, just keep your composure. Don't let him know you're getting to you the whole time.
Make it.
I was like, I wonder if I can run and make it to my room before he sees which room I'm in.
Like the whole time, like, give me 3 steps, mister is playing in your head.
Yes, and I'm like, oh. And then he tells me, I was like, hey man, I got to ask you. I was like, what's up with the scar? And he's like, oh, do I look ugly to you? And I'm like, no, buddy, I'm just... Do I freak you out? Am I grossing you out? And I'm like, look, bro. I was like, no, I was just wondering because that's a very big scar. So he goes on to tell me he's from Artesia, New Mexico.
Oh, right down the street?
Right down the street. What? He's like, yeah, I was leaving my room. I went down to the little convenience store that's on the corner, and I got robbed. And I'm like, that doesn't answer the scar. I was like, what's up with the scar? He's like, yeah, after he finished robbing me, he sliced me from here all the way down. I was like, after you gave him the money, he's like, yeah.
That's wild.
And I'm like, after that, I was just like, well, we kept the conversation going. You know, I'm like, man, that's crazy. He's like, yeah, Artesia's nuts. It's nuts, man. He's like, and then he starts asking me. He's like, hey, you think I can get a ride? I'm like, I'm not driving to Artesia, man. You know, I was like, I'm not here. I don't have a vehicle. I'm with the company vehicle, you know, or my boss over here. And he's like, oh, all right. And after I kind of cooled him down, I got him drunk. Let's just need to say I got him drunk so I could leave.
Yeah, no.
Classic Permian Basin tale right there.
Yes.
That's Permian Basin all day right there.
But it's crazy what you run into, right? Because like as a comic, like, I mean, you see weird stuff, and the crazy thing is at the level that I play at. I mean, like I said, I tour and I go into unknown pubs and bars and places that you just don't know what you're walking into, right? And I will tell you this: not a single place, because people ask me, how do you deal with hecklers? You play with them, like you give them what they want, because it turns out. Sure, if you're Chris Rock or you're somebody on a theater stage and there is security and you have your own personal security SWAT team and you can say whatever the hell you want, but and you can pretend to be big and bad at one of these places, but turns out only say what you are willing to back up, because there's not a single place I've walked into on the road. Now, given I'm 10 hours from home, nobody knows me, and there's nobody to protect me. Yeah. There's no bouncer, there's no security, there's no nothing. Yeah. So if somebody wants to say something to you, please play with them, because you know what? If you say something that is going to get your ass beat in the parking lot, or is going to leave you stabbed in the middle of nowhere, like you left for, like, I have a full-time job and a family. I drove 10 hours to the center of Kansas to perform in a town that has less than 300 people in it. Like, they can bury me in a cornfield. I will never be found. Like no one, people will be like, what happened to Chris? Like, I don't know. We haven't heard from him in a month.
He's out in the Texas killing fields.
These are genuine dive bars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's a genuine dive bar.
Yeah, there's no you get out there, like, there's no bouncers, there's no security. Maybe the owner will interrupt, but probably not. That, particularly if they know the guy.
The owner's like, that guy spends $300 here every week. You know, I'm not going to do nothing.
Yeah, like it's on you. So like when people are just like, why don't you ever go hard at them? Well, because I don't want to die.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, it's whatever I have to say or whatever happens up there. At the end of the day, I just want to collect whatever small amount of money we agreed on, and I want to drive home. Well, I do know this: I'm not going to say something that's going to get my ass beat for $50.
Yeah,
right?
No kidding.
I drove to. I'm at the end of the day, like, I'm lucky to come out $50 in the plus. I am not ready to taunt any audience that is going to seem aggressive. Like, why would I do that? I'm not going to fight. I came here to tell some jokes. I didn't come here to fight. Yeah. So when someone's just like, well, why didn't you get that heckler? Well, because that heckler is 3 times my size. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but I don't look like a fighter. Because I'm not.
Yeah.
like there's nothing about me that looks tough. Like, I am your stereotype middle-aged white man who looks like he has not suffered. Yeah. Did I grow up rich? No, but you know what? Right now, I do not look like I grew up on the mean streets of nothing.
Yeah.
I never really thought about that, man. Yeah, you know, going to those dive bars performing, you do have to be careful, because I mean, I know what kind of people are there, and some of those people don't give a fuck.
They're there to drink their problems away.
Exactly right. Yeah.
And it's funny, because if you ever get a wine, if you perform at a winery, wine is a happy alcohol. Like, they are always super easy to make laugh. You give them any nudge and they laugh. Like, it's easy to kill at a winery. Yeah. Because, like, it's happy juice. But you go into a bar, some of them are on Jack, some of them are on Tanqueray, like some of them are some of them are straight angry juice, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Some of them have drank, they're on their 3rd tequila shot and they're ready to fight, right? Like,
3rd tequila shot, 2nd marriage.
They just caught their wife cheating on them right before they walked in that bar.
Right. Fuck. So you don't know, number one, what kind of angry juice they're drinking. Number 2, what has happened that brought them to that bar that night. Number 3, what will they do? Are they cool? Are they afraid? Or they're like, so what? I'll beat your ass. I'll go to jail. Like, some people don't care.
No.
So I'm not a comic who's going to come at you from the stage, because I am not willing to pay the price.
Yeah. Me neither. Forget that, man.
Like, if they want that, they need to up what they're paying me by a lot.
So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for that, like, what hate comment that we get on Spotify or YouTube, and I'm just like, gotta be able to handle that.
I don't even pay attention. Honestly, it's just another.
Yeah.
I look at people that do that stuff. Those are just trolls. Heck, you know, they're not even hecklers. They're just a troll. They don't have anything else going on.
Yeah.
It's probably some dude that hasn't left his fucking living room in weeks. He's on his fourth box of pizza stacked in the corner, and he has nothing else to do but to say some stupid ass shit behind the keyboard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't even pay attention to the comments.
You can picture those guys sitting on the couch watching the Olympics when they.
I can do better.
Yeah. Oh, when they mess up the routine, they're like,
while he drinks his Modelo.
Like I said, you're at the bar, and when people are like, well, do you do crowd work? I'm just like, not like you want. Like, like, well, the good people I like do crowd work. I'm like, they also are at clubs where there are security and bouncers.
Yeah.
Like when they engage an audience, number one, you don't want to. Okay, this is going to sound bad, but like it's every now and then, like you said, there are professional hecklers that are great. Like there are straight up shit talkers. Like in every office, the most hilarious shit talkers on the planet.
Yeah.
If my normal show is not I'm not a practiced shit talker. That's not what I do. Like, so like if I engage you and we're now in a confrontation going back and forth and you out shit talk me, I lost. Like I'm a guy on a mic. I'm supposed to be the professional, and some guy in the third row just said something funnier than I could ever come up with, and it hurt. Yeah. Not only was that a great insult, but also like the audience member just buried me, and there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Like you lost the fight. Like so if you do get a back and forth and you lose, that's bad news.
Oh man.
And so like I'm not a roaster and I'm not a shit talker. So like an aggressive engagement that's actually a battle like that, I might lose. And I'm not trying to do that. So when people are like, "Do you do crowd work?" I'm just like, no, because that guy might be hilarious. Yeah. Number two, that guy might cut me in the parking lot. I don't know. He might wield a knife, or he might be funnier than me. Yeah. No, we're not doing this.
Yeah, that's hard. I couldn't do it back and forth, man. I'm the guy who sits there and takes it, and then I get back in my car in the parking lot. I'm like, I'll think of something. That. Oh, I should have thought that was so good. That was so good to everybody. But you want to go back in there, but he's gone.
But there are totally people that think, well, it's like, well, everybody should do crowd work. When you go online, what's popping is crowd work. I'm just like, those people are at clubs with security, with protection. No. If they say something, they don't have to own it. Like they're not getting their ass beat tonight because they engaged somebody in the audience. Yeah. Right. That's not so it's a different level. So so it's funny that people are just like, you should really do crowd work. Crowd work's where it's at. That's how people are blowing up. I'm like, that's how people who have already kind of blown up blow up bigger. Yes. Like these people are already at the clubs. They're already in theaters. They're already in places that have security. These people are not where I am at.
Yeah. Yeah. I see those on Twitter. On X. The hecklers, and when it gets crazy, some of the people that can't take the heckling. Oh, yeah. Like when they say something, and then the comedian just sits there and just berates them. They're doing that crowd work, and they cannot handle it, man. Next thing you know, they're throwing cups.
Oh, yeah, they're getting pissed.
They're getting mad, throwing bottles at the comedian. I'm like, man, that's crazy.
They don't pay me enough to get hit.
Yeah, no kidding, man. But some of those guys, they're comedians. They're really good, dude, at just heckling these people.
They must feed off of that.
But
some do.
Well, there are definitely comedians out there. I mean, Matt Rife engages, but he tries to be friendly with it, right? Yeah. But then there's I'm trying to think of his name. He's got orange hair. I can't think of his name.
Carrot Top.
No.
That's what I thought. Carrot Top.
No, he doesn't do that. He's a prop comic. He wants to give his show.
Oh, that's right.
He doesn't want to be interrupted. But no, it's weird because they are saying things and it's very educational, and they're already locked and loaded. They already have their argument. They've worked it out every single angle. They've engaged this exact argument 32 times across the country, and they'll say something that's polarizing, and they know that it's bait, and there's someone that's just drunk enough to try to engage, and then they engage back, and they win that argument by schooling them and educating them, right? Yeah. Like, because they are ready. They've already planned this argument. They are ready for this conversation. Mm-hmm. That drunk person who just got offended, they are not ready for that conversation.
Yeah.
So like he baited that person and then proceeded to own said heckler, and then comedian owns heckler, goes viral, and that's just how. So it's a very intentional thing, and they're capturing
That's
it.
mental jujitsu right there. To bait somebody in like that.
And you think that it's it leads the audience to think, oh, that's so spontaneous. He's so quick on his feet. He's been prepping for that exact moment.
Yeah.
For the past 3 months, right? He was waiting for the person who's
he
going
was
to
just
bite.
fishing.
But how many of those hecklers know the comedian? Hey, this is when I need you to say something.
Yeah, that's good. I had never thought about that.
Hey, this is when I need you to heckle me so I can rebuttal you. I can just wipe the floor with you. The camera's not going to be on you.
The whole thing is an act. The heckler is part of the act.
Yeah.
Whoa, I never really thought about that.
That's pretty. If you sit there and put that together, that's kind of pretty smart because you have your whole routine. Now you're right. There are some people that just right off the cuff.
Yeah.
But that's like arguing with a woman, right? Like a woman's already got all the answers. When she comes to you with a question, she knows if you're lying because she already knows the truth. Yeah. Right? She already knows the truth. And she'll back you in a corner and she's going to cause you to have to answer. And I'm sorry, I know I'm just generalizing ladies right now, but but they already know the truth. They've already worked out this argument. You've lost before that ever happens. Right? Well, that's the same with these hecklers, right? Like that person who is baiting these people, they already know the answers. They know everything about the subject they're talking about. And then they bait this drunk person into saying something, and that drunk person doesn't stand a chance. Not a chance, because just like a woman who's already played this out, they already see all the angles, they already know everything. They are prepared for this fight. and that heckler is like the husband that just got caught by surprise. It's just like, so what about this?
Yeah.
and then it's like that.
Yeah. Which is funny though.
I hate to compare it to a domestic dispute, but like that heckler stands about as much of a chance as a husband in an unexpected fight.
Again, that's me again, because my wife, she's like, I only give what I get when I get the conversations, and I'm like, I don't even know how to answer that, you know. So I walk out and I get in my truck and I'm like, what a bullshit answer. And I'm like, God damn, why couldn't you come up with that when you were there? That's funny. That's hilarious.
Trust me, that heckler driving home, he's like, I should have said this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would have got him. I would have demolished him.
This would have
demolished
if I had only said this.
Yeah, I would have obliterated that guy.
Yeah,
but no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't have, because it would have never come out.
Is there any subjects you stay away from? Politics or?
Oh, absolutely. I am not trying to do that.
Yeah.
Like because I mean. Like in general, I like to keep it clean, but or at least clever, right? Mm-hmm. Like if I do say something dirty, I don't want the 12-year-old to understand why it's dirty, right? So I try to be. I do want the adult content. I do want to do that. But like if you find my stuff online, other than stuff you might find from 6 or 7 years ago, like I've tried to bury anything that's dirty because. I want to be seen as a person who can work clean. So I am. So if you do hear something dirty, I want it to be a clever turn of phrase or something that only you got. Like, right? Like it's like, okay, this was said very specific for you at a level that a 9-year-old isn't like on it, right? Mm-hmm. Because I'm not trying to gross out or scar young kids. But you know, or your grandma or anybody else that comes. Like if it's dirty, I want you to be like, oh, I see what he did. That was awesome. I don't want it to be like, oh, he said, that, right? Yeah. So I think that there's enough shock comedy out there and enough people who are willing to go dirty and get really in the grime that's there, and there's a huge audience for it. People love it, but I want to be that person who's trying to say those things without ever saying those things.
I gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
I want you to get what I'm saying, but I don't want to have to say it.
And
so that's kind of
that's
what
sharp.
I'm doing.
Actually, that's real sharp when you can do that.
Very but in the realm of wanting to stay clean, I end up doing way too many. It's just funny because like if you do clean comedy, people are just like, oh, that's corny, or that's dad jokes, or that's a pun. And yes, I do have a lot of that to me, but but my humor is based off of being a husband, being a father, being in the military, and having fascination with language. So slang kills me because I think it's hilarious, particularly when a 47-year-old white man tries to use slang. So I use it very ironically, and I use it, and it pulls good laugh because people are like old people, like myself, are like, yeah, those young kids, right? And then, but then the young kids are like, that's so cringe, but it still gets a response, and that's what you're looking for, is a fun response. So so to me, if you groan or if you sigh or roll your eyes at me, part of you is having a good time doing that, and really I care about you having a good time and being entertained. So, and that's a mentality I've had to shift too, because I'm not a celebrity. I'm not going to get that automatic laugh. Mm-hmm. If you came and you had a great time, then that is the goal, right? Everybody wants an audible laugh. Everybody wants a laugh, and that's what makes you feel good. That's our immediate payout. But if you guys came out and had a great night, that is my goal. I'm an entertainer at the end of the day. Yes, I'm a comedian, and laughter is the immediate gratification that I get. But some people aren't going to do that. They're there to drink their beer. They're there to smile, have a good time. And that's fine. Yeah. And I think that's cool. But I think the reason I'm really about that life is, or that particular type of humor, is I had someone named, I'll think of his name, John Stringer. I'm going to say his name because he gave me this piece of advice. I had two people give me really good advice. A guy named Dennis Gaxiola out of California. He said, write clean, because anything can be dirtied up. If you write dirty, it's hard to turn it and make it go clean. Yeah. Right. Then I was told by John Stringer. He said, "Don't ruin date night," because it turns out if you're considerate of your audience, let's say a person has 3 kids. All right, a married couple has 3 kids. They get, maybe if they're lucky, 1 night a month that they can go out and have a good time and truly get away for the night. Now you got to understand that they probably paid $60 to a babysitter. All right. Uh-huh. So they're already $60 in before they left the house. And then let's say it's $15 to get in a piece. Now it's $30. So now they're $90 into the night. Now they're going to buy drinks, and the drinks are going to be $5 or $6 a piece. They're going to have a couple. So they're going to spend $100 to $120 on this date night. Right. And this is their escape from their kids on that night. Yeah. They've spent over $100 to be here, and you go at them, you say something offensive, or you say something that ruins their night out. That's their one night out of a whole month. Yeah. And they got away from the kids, they paid for the babysitter, they did all that, and they walked away with a bad taste in their mouth. And what are they going to say? We're not doing comedy again. We're not going to go watch another comedy show. Yeah, you just lost them. You just and you didn't just ruin it for you. You ruined it for everybody else that's going to perform comedy at that spot, because they're never going to go back there to watch comedy, because that's how that works. But also at a personal level, that's the parents. That's a parent of 3. There was a parents of 3 kids, and they maybe don't make a lot of money. They spent $100 to come have a night out, and you somehow ruined it for them. Yeah. So you don't want to be the person who is attacking or shocking or offending, because people are just like, well, it's freedom of speech, right? I'm like, to an extent. Because you have to remember, you're not there to express yourself. You're paid to entertain the audience. Now, that bar has now lost those customers, because those customers aren't going to come back to that bar. Yeah. And that makes you bad for business. And when you're bad for business, you don't get to come back.
Yeah.
Damn, that's good. Yeah, that's right.
That's actually really good advice. Both of those guys give you really good advice. Something to think about.
I like dirty comedy, though.
But yeah, don't ruin date night.
Yeah, don't ruin date night. Buttholes. But it was good.
This was good. Very informative. Yes. I learned a lot.
Hell yeah.
How many comics do you have that are going to be at the Jest of the West?
The best Jester of the West. We have, I'm going to host it, and we have 9 competitors. Hell so yeah. That's going to be a total of 10. And I've I'll say it's going to be real special is that the judges I got, all of them are bookers, like legitimate bookers. So I would say that it's really neat to have that. We have a comedy club. We have a guy named Bobby Smith. He owns Upstage Comedy Club in San Antonio. So we brought in a comedy club owner. Then we have a person who books shows all around the country. And then we have someone who books an awful lot of shows. Mike Shields, he's the primary booker for West Texas. So even if you don't win, if you perform really well, you're performing in front of people who will offer you the next step.
Yeah.
And that's
awesome.
So that's what that's a huge takeaway, because I hope to see 9 baller sets. I mean, they're going to do 15-minute sets. They're swinging for the fences. They all want to win. I expect to see 9 amazing shows. And I can only award one. I can only give the award to one. But what we can do is make sure that they get that magic handshake that takes them to Upstage Comedy Lounge in San Antonio, or that magic handshake that's going to get them booked in Dallas, or that magic handshake that's going to take them all over West Texas.
Yes.
Right. So the idea is not only, yes, we get to give one person a belt buckle and some money, but we get to give 9 people a chance to impress, shake hands, and connect with people who are legitimately able to take them places.
Yeah. God.
How is it being judged?
Ooh, that's a good question. I didn't think about that.
I don't have my criteria in front of me.
Sorry.
But yeah, I feel unprepared. I didn't bring a score sheet. But there will be a separate score sheet for each comic. All right. So each of my judges, we have 4 judges. So each of my judges will be handed 4 score sheets, a score sheet for each comic. They'll be able to take notes. They'll be able to apply a score to the various criteria. We'll add up the numbers at the end of the night, and whoever has the highest score will be our overall winner.
Will they be announced that night?
It will be announced at night. And what's crazy is
cool.
They're all getting 15 minutes, which by the way is an eternity. To some of them, like you said, they have an hour act. It's them trying to pick out what is going to be the best, the best 15 minutes. Then you have people who have only done 15 minutes once or twice, and they're trying to give you the best 15 minutes they can because they want to go from 0 to hero.
Yeah.
Right. You have heroes that are coming down and trying to win this thing and are our odds-on favorite. I won't name them. I know who they are.
Yeah.
But again, I don't. But I know who the favorites are because they've been there. They've done that. They are somebody already, kind of.
Yeah.
Right. But then you have people and. You have people that are pretty new, all right? Or you have at least one person that has been doing it for less than a year. And that is 0 to hero. That person's going to swing for the fences, and he's hoping to take down Goliath.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Pull that sword out of that stone.
Like he's really going to pull the sword out of the stone. And that's incredible because if he performs really well, number one, yes, he'll pull the sword out of the stone. Not likely, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Because he has a fair shake at it and as much of a shot as anybody else. However, I would say that the big thing for that person or those people to do is perform amazing and then get those handshakes. Because if next month you're at Upstage Comedy Lounge, that's awesome. Or next month you're at Cap City in Austin, that's awesome. You won the game, right? The real game is impress the bookers.
Yeah.
Get your next gig. Let them help you build your reputation. But the belt buckle and the money is awesome, and that's a given. However, the big thing is, how do I walk out of Saturday night knowing that I've made a great impression on people who are actually going to help me take my game to another level this year.
Heck yeah. Stu, I love it. That's a great way to end the episode right there. I love that.
Thank you, Chris.
You want to plug those
much.
2 shows real quick?
I do want to plug them again. We have this weekend we have the Best Jester of the West. Those tickets can be bought online at the San Angelo Performing Arts Center's website, or they can be bought at the door. This weekend, this Saturday, you're going to want to enter at the entrance for the B Theater. And they'll walk you through, and we'll be performing at the Brooks and Bates Theater.
Okay.
Next Friday, we'll be back at the Brooks and Bates Theater. Those tickets also available on the San Angelo Performing Arts Center site. Also, we'll have tickets at the door at the box office, and that is for April MASIE. We have 3 comics on the card. I would name them, but really, what you're paying to see is April MASIE. She's an international act. She's been on Snoop Dogg's Bad Girls of Comedy. She's been on Tiffany Haddish's They Ready. She's been on an awful lot of stuff, but
That's going to be next
But
on the 7th. It's going to be on a Friday.
Yes, it is on a Friday.
Okay.
And,
February 7th.
Yeah, but so February 7th for April Macy. And she's the first celebrity that I ever worked with. I'm sorry, not other than Dean Edwards. This is the first time I went on a road to perform with a celebrity. And it was crazy because she is so dirty, but in the most odd, clean, in the most odd, unvulgar way.
Yeah.
It's just like, that is really crazy how you were able to be you're able to talk about these things and somehow still be like likable and charming.
Yeah.
Like the fact that she's drop dead gorgeous might help, but she's just funny and quirky and weird about it. And you're just like, that is ridiculous. And it's just really, so it's dirty, but in a very, like weird, like, how does she get away with saying that without me thinking that she's a dirty person?
Yeah, that's hilarious. So that's great, guys. If you can make it out this weekend, February 1st, Jester of the West.
Get some chuckles.
Get some chuckles in, and then the next show is February 7th. Check it out. Go support your local comedian.
For sure.
You know, and get some good laughs.
Yeah.
So with that, hey guys, thank you for listening. Yeah.
Episode 101.
Episode 101.
101.
Thanks, guys, for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
What it do, baby?
What it do?
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.